Welcome, everyone, to a visual deep dive into something you interact with every single day: your diet. We're not just talking about your waistline here. We're talking about your brain, your anxiety levels, your ability to focus, and that ever-elusive thing we call mood. The title of our discussion is blunt for a reason: Food, Mood, and Manipulation. How modern diets quietly influence mental health. Forget what you think you know. This isn't just about clean eating. This is about a serious research-backed revolution in psychiatry, often called nutritional psychiatry, and how the modern food industry, with its brightly colored packaging and dramatic contrasts, might be unknowingly, or perhaps knowingly, sabotaging your well-being. The second brain and the highway to happiness or hysteria. Let's start with the serious science, which is also the most fascinating. You have a second brain, and it's not in your skull, it's your gut. The connection between your belly and your head is a two-way superhighway known as the gut-brain axis. It's mediated by the estimated 100 trillion tiny animated chemical factories, your gut microbiome, that produce neurotransmitters, including up to 90% of your serotonin, the famed happiness molecule. Natural example: think about that jittery, sinking feeling you get in your stomach when you're incredibly nervous. Conversely, when you eat fiber-rich and fermented foods, like a bowl of Greek yogurt with berries and walnuts, you're feeding the good guys. They respond by calming the farm, so to speak, and sending peaceful signals back up to your brain. The problem arises when our modern ultra-processed diet, the one heavy on refined sugars, bad fats, and chemical additives, wipes out the diversity of this second brain. The sugar crash of calamity. Let's inject a little humor into the seriousness. You know that feeling, right? You smash a massive cinnamon roll or a gigantic soda, and for a moment, you feel like the king or queen of the universe. Then, the inevitable happens: the crash, that rapid spike and plunge in blood glucose, shown on our animated crash graph, is a mood stabilizer problem. The research is clear. Diets high in refined sugars are consistently linked to a higher risk of anxiety. The visual transition of the face from elated to overwhelmed shows this instability. The big problem here is the food manipulation. Companies hide sugar in everything, from your morning cereal to energy bars. They're not fueling your brain. They're putting it on a roller coaster, where the highest peak is just a setup for the biggest drop. Humor break. It's like your brain is a grumpy toddler who only wants candy, reacting to the sweetness, then screaming on the floor. Don't blame the toddler. Blame the ultra-processed cereal you gave him. The silent saboteurs: omega, SAXS, and chronic inflammation. This is where the mood turns serious. Modern Western diets are characterized by a terrible imbalance in essential fats, specifically the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. Oily fish like salmon provide anti-inflammatory omega-3s, but processed vegetable oils like corn and soybean oil, which permeate fast food, are pro-inflammatory. We now consume an alarming ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, shown here on our animated ratio chart. This constant chemical fire, or chronic inflammation, damages brain tissue. This inflammation is now a leading hypothesis for chronic depression. We are quite literally eating ourselves into an inflammatory state that breeds low mood and anxiety. To fight this quiet war, you need brain armor. Think of walnuts, which look a bit like a tiny brain and are one of the richest plant sources of omega-3s. A handful a day can help dampen the chronic inflammation caused by the rest of our diet. The path forward: simple food, powerful mood. So what's the counterattack? The research gives us a surprisingly simple roadmap: returning to whole, traditional, nutrient-dense foods. Prioritize the good guys. Embrace the Mediterranean diet principles. Think whole grains, lean proteins, and copious amounts of colorful vegetables. Befriend fermentation. Introduce fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, and natural yogurt. These are psychobiotics that actively replenish your gut microbiome, sending those calming signals back to your brain. Mind your micronutrients. Ensure you're getting enough B vitamins, zinc, like in pumpkin seeds, and magnesium. A square of dark chocolate isn't just a treat. Its polyphenol can literally reduce mental fatigue and boost vitality. The ultimate manipulation isn't what they put in the food. It's the sheer convenience that makes you forget what real food does. But if you start connecting that afternoon slump or spike of irrational anxiety to the packaged thing you just ate, the whole dynamic changes. Take back the power. Every single bite is a decision to either fuel your brain's resilience or feed the anxiety monster. The food on your plate holds an immense power over your mental landscape. Do you really want to let a handful of ultra-processed ingredients dictate your daily mood?